Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise podcast, hosted by yours truly, Misty Magdalena Grace, also known as Magical Mags. I am an abundance alchemist, helping you alchemize fear into love, pain into purpose, scarcity or lack into abundance, so that you can live your best life, your best health, your best wealth, your best relationships by trusting your best wisdom within. Please enjoy the show, like and subscribe, and leave a review if you see value in this amazing show. And feel free to stay in till the end. You may have a surprise gift waiting for you on the other side of this episode. All right, everyone, welcome back. It's my final episode of a big marathon day. I'm so excited to have ScottieO here with us. I'm going to introduce him in just a little bit. Just a quick welcome. Again, if you don't know who I am Misty Magdalena Grace, your podcast guest now for 5 amazing, transformative, spiritual awakened years. It's 5 years ago this week that I launched my podcast, Healthy and Wealthy and Wise. And at that time, I was a very different person. Have gone through many versions of myself, celebrated my 100th episode in January of 2021. I celebrated my 3-year anniversary 2 years ago when I came out of the spiritual broom closet and renamed myself. My podcast name stayed the same, but I changed into this Misty Magdalena version of me. And now we are heading into year 6, starting that this week and honoring Mary Magdalene Day today, and just celebrating the health and wealth and consciousness expansion of the planet, this podcast, myself, and bringing new and exciting guests to the show. And today I've had 4 episodes. This will be my last one for the day. So if you didn't get a chance to watch any of the others, please like, subscribe, download, and go check me out. Subscribe on YouTube or iTunes is where you'll find me. And if you want to tune in live in the future, become friends with me on Facebook and LinkedIn. And you can find all of that at magdalenagrace.com. So to bring it home, finishing strong with my brother, ScottieO. I'm just so excited. We're going to be talking about Tantra. We're going to be talking about love, probably orgasms in there somewhere. I just met ScottieO this past year and it just was so excited to connect with him through my tribe. And truly, I'll be the first to admit, when I heard the word Tantra a few years back here in San Diego, I misjudged it. I didn't understand its ancient wisdom and its yogic tradition, and truly ScottieO has shifted my perspective. He's the founder and primary facilitator of Ecstatic Hearts, and he's internationally known. And I mean, I know you can brag about yourself. I want to give you permission for all that you have created over, I think, almost 2 decades, right? You've been working in the Tantra community and built an amazing reputation, amazing retreats. And I hear testimonials all the time now from people that we mutually know and that I respect, that you've really been changing lives and doing it one heart, one relationship at a time. You do conscious coupling work. And so without further ado, ScottieO, I'd love for you to share your story and the truth about Tantra.
Oh, well, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. Let's see, the truth. I don't know if I know the capital T for truth, but I'll give you my perspective. I mean, first of all, I'll just say, yeah, thanks for being here on the show. I'll start by just saying a little bit about my background. When I got into Tantra, I was a workaholic in corporate America. I was doing like 80 to 100-hour weeks managing Friskies cat food. And I was a very straight-laced, very conservative, very skeptical person that didn't really believe all this woo-woo stuff about Tantra. And I basically, without getting too much down the rabbit hole, I had a pretty shameful experience around my sexuality because I was a premature ejaculator, and I was like, my health was deteriorating. I became disabled, and like my life just wasn't working. And I was following all the things you were supposed to do to be successful, but I just wasn't happy, and I didn't understand why. And I was basically, because of the shame around this experience, I was driven into this weird thing called Tantra. And they said you could like separate ejaculation from orgasm. I said, what? That's possible. There's no such thing, but I checked it out, and it did teach me some cool skills, but it wasn't really until I started practicing it that it started really making a difference. And then when I had a partner, we could like feel this connection. Then it really started taking off, and it started improving my life in so many ways. I get into all the benefits of it, but it was transformative on so many levels, even including spiritual. Believe in this stuff until like miracles started happening, and like my view of reality started just changing on a monthly basis. Like what I thought was impossible became possible in very miraculous ways. And so anyway, and then my friends started bugging me to teach them, and we started teaching them, and now we're the largest Tantra community in North America, and I guess South America too. And it's crazy because it's like people who practice this, and it's an easy practice, like 15 minutes a day, every other day. It's better, and it moves quicker if you practice a little bit more, a little bit longer. But in general, that's all I started with, was just like I added some breath work for like 15 minutes a day, and it transformed my life and literally made my life better and better and better, like every month, almost every month forever. Every once in a while I have a plateau month. But anyway, so what is Tantra? What the heck am I talking about? Tantra has been around for thousands of years, depending on who you talk to. There's different styles, there's different types. The type of Tantra I like to focus on, or what I'm talking about, is really the yoga of love. It's really, I like to think of it as practices that enable us to connect more deeply with ourselves, with like internally, with others, and with the divine. And it really taps into energy. So these are like the tools of Tantra. There's breath work, actually mindfulness. You start with mindfulness, breath work, sound, like vocalization, touch, and movement, and then energy. And all these things actually tap into our energy field. And the thing is that we are energetic beings as well as physical ones. And most people don't quite get that. I certainly didn't. And we talk about, we have energy, you can move your energy. I was like, what the heck are people talking about? But it's actually an ability that we all have. And with practice, you can tap into and start utilizing it. You actually have energy that you can learn to send into people. And energy is a conduit of information. So it's not bound by time and space. So it's really interesting because when you are energetically connecting with people, you can read their minds, you can feel their feelings. It's the only way I know of that you can truly connect with people and have a true understanding of what it's like to feel somebody else. And when you get to the level, so like with one of my first partners, my wife at the time, we were so connected that when she had an orgasm, I could feel it, even if I was in the other room and didn't even know what was happening. And so, which you can imagine, it makes you a pretty good lover when you know what they're feeling, and you're actually creating this like feedback loop. And then she can start feeling what I'm feeling, and then the illusion of separation dissolves. And so, so if you have connection, if you really can feel someone, then everything else becomes easier. And that's love, right? We can all connect and feel each other. And then when you practice it long enough, you can not just send each other an orgasm from across the room, which gets I know it sounds crazy, but you can have an orgasm with the divine. You start like trees start talking to you, and you start having orgasms with lightning bolts, and like you become one with the earth, and you start leaving your body. And I start meeting I meet friends, and we start remembering our past life experiences in the past. Like, that's trippy. I didn't believe in any of this stuff until it started happening to me. And I still almost reluctantly, step by step, is what, this is possible too. It's like, and if it's just me, I'd totally think I'm crazy. But I've literally taught thousands of people that are experiencing these miracles too. So it's a huge, wide open, like just, I don't know, Pandora's box of beauty and magic. And most people don't even have a clue what's at the surface of it. So anyway, it's a long-winded response, but it gives you something to start with.
No, that's perfect. I got all sorts of things that I can go down many beautiful, beautiful rivers of that. So you reminded me of the saying, we are all spiritual beings having a human experience. And I'll share from my own heart. Like for me, there was two things as a child that I know shut down my ability to connect with energy, and ultimately Tantra was, I was an empath, so I could feel everything anywhere I went, and I thought it was a bad thing. I was a very sensitive child, so I got shut down a lot. So I thought, oops, emotions, energy, bad, I must suppress it. And then there's the other side of Tantra, which is, I think, something we definitely need to talk about is people think Tantra, they think immediately sex, and that's all they think about. So since
Yeah.
those types of topics weren't really discussed in my home and family of origin or my hometown, because I grew up in Iowa in the middle of nowhere, there was only like religion and work and worship, those were the main things. And it was a very specific religion. If we talk about woo and energy and past lives, I mean, no, we don't, that's evil. That's bad. So I feel like those
Right,
are
right.
my own assessments of my own, because I had a similar story, workaholic, alcoholic, hated my life, my marriage, wanted to die in a lot of aspects because I wasn't in tune with my truth, which was energy and sexual pranic energy at that, now that I'm a yogi and really remember what this is truly about, this human existence. So I'd love for you to maybe unpack a little bit of that for those empaths out there and those people who are like, ooh, can't talk about sex or tantra is sex, and they don't understand it.
Well, let's start with sex because that's the big part that most people get caught up on. So
Mm-hmm.
first of all, I'll say this. It's not all about sex. And but the reason it keeps coming up is because it's Tantra is one of the few, let's say, spiritual practices. By the way, it's not a religion. It doesn't matter what your belief system is. It works for anybody. Just think of it as like yoga added to your life. And when you practice it, you start having deeper spiritual connections with whatever it is that you believe. And it's like it's the only spiritual practice I know of that embraces sexuality. Most like think of it as evil and bad, and they actually create a divide between your upper chakras and your lower chakras. They get into woo woo. The point is that because we embrace it and because it's fun, it's the thing that gets the most attention. And guess what? We all do it. We're all here because of it. Sex is part of our beingness. It's like it's weird to me how people get so, wound up about this topic because it's like it's a natural part of who we are. And that's really just part, I think a tantric practice is just accepting that we are sexual beings and allowing that's okay. The problem is we have a lot of trauma. We have a lot of we've been told that it's bad and wrong and sinful for all these years, and it's part of our culture, really. And so accepting yourself and loving yourself is really the number one goal of Tantra, in my opinion. And so, and these are tools that allow you to more deeply love yourself. And part of that is accepting that you're a sexual being. And here's the thing. My belief is that tantric lovemaking is the most powerful way to connect with someone else. It's like you energetically, you emotionally, you physically bond chemically, energetically. It's like it's the most powerful way and the most beautiful, fun way. I think it's the most fun thing we could do to really connect with someone very deeply. And it's not about going off and having sex with as many people as you can. It's about how deeply can you go with someone? How much can you dissolve the illusion of separation? Because the truth is we're all connected. And that's the second thing. Sex is the best way to pray. It's the closest thing most of us ever come to God. An orgasm is the highest state that most people are ever connected to God. It's interesting to note that, oh, God is the number one thing said when people are orgasming. So it's like, and some people would hear that and go, that's blasphemy. But no, it's in my experience, it's divine, So why are we not celebrating our most divine, powerful prayer, love, connection? It's beautiful. So it's like, it's something I think we get to celebrate more. And it's weird to me that we live in a culture that, would rather watch puppies and kids being killed than people making love. It's crazy to me. So anyway, but that's my opinion. Not trying to spread too much, but let's celebrate love. That's all.
Yeah, no, I know that's what you're about, a movement of love. And I just want to say Mary Magdalene approves this message because part of why I know that this has all been suppressed is the divine feminine was suppressed, raped,
Yes.
burned at the stake, all of that kind of stuff. And the sexual pranic energy, you can't have true orgasm without the feminine and the masculine, right? Working together. And I'm talking about energies, not
Yeah.
heterosexual per se. So it's coming back into existence. That's why it's happening more. It's why I wanted you on my show today, Mary Magdalene Day, to remember that, okay, Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, yes, they had sex. Okay, Jesus had sex. You know, I call him Yeshua, but at the end of the day, the church shut that down. The patriarchy shut that down. And if you're not, you know, having sex to reproduce and, you know, build an army of whatever, then, you know, it's not supposed to be had. Like, those are some of the deep, rigid structures and dogmas that are being broken now. And that's why I really was excited to have you on here, because there's a lot of mistruths and misunderstandings that tantric energy is the Kundalini Shakti. And as a yogi myself, it's you're absolutely right. You know, you can have that energy and have your own orgasm with yourself too. And there's just so much joy and bliss, more money, more health improvements, like you talked about with your own life. I'm sure you're not working 80 to 100 hours a week anymore, right?
No, no, I'm not. And I also like that you brought us some important stuff is that when we're talking about orgasm, what I mean is an energetic release and a build up tantric love. Let's just say tantric sex. Like, let's say tantric orgasms without even ejaculation. And most people think that ejaculation is orgasm. It's two separate things. But you actually have a very, very similar physiological response, but it's can be even more powerful, because what happens traditionally with a guy is like he gets excited and he ejaculates and he goes to sleep and so forth. But with this, you have an energetic orgasm. You don't ejaculate, your energy doesn't go down. You can have another one. So you can have multiple orgasms, and you build. The reason this is important is because you can have like hours of lovemaking, both people, and they're both generating more and more energy. And then when you have all this creative life force energy, then you can do things with it, like manifest miracles. It actually heals you and clears your chakra. Laying of hands, Reiki, that all comes from Tantra, you know, from things like manifesting miracles. If you look at Think and Grow Rich, which is like the #1, you know, business book that was written as a manual of actually studying the most successful people in the world. There's a whole chapter on sexual transmutation. That's what we're talking about, is like utilizing sexual energy, creative life force energy, to manifest things like money as well. And this is why this is a very powerful technique that's been around for a long time, and it was suppressed because the powers that be wanted you to go through them. Because the truth is, we can all connect directly to the divine. And this is the most powerful way to do it. And people didn't want you going straight to the source. They wanted you to go through them. They wanted you to, no, let us tell you what to do so we can control you. And anyone that was preaching their was kind of persecuted. Anyway, I don't want to go down conspiracy theory, but there was an active suppression of the feminine and the power and sex. And that's why today we have this culture of like, sex is bad and wrong. No, it's natural and normal in love, you know, but, and I'll just say it's only 20% of it. So when I say we're doing Tantra, that's just one of the most powerful tools, but mindfulness is key. It's what started the whole mindfulness industry, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry in business right now. That came from Tantra and Buddha, you know, it's like, and so your mindset is huge. Be able to control that. Your breath work is one of the most powerful things we do. And most people spend less time thinking out their breath than they do about, you know, what movie they're going to watch or something. I mean, like we spend so much time on going to the gym and exercising, but we spend almost very little time on breathing, which is just as essential as anything else. So your breath can do so much. And then movement, mindfulness, these other tools are things that help you activate your energy. And these are old things that have been around for a long time, but when you practice them, they can create really profound effects over time, especially with this like incremental stacking. It's almost like compound interest. It's like you just make little improvements and little habits, and they build and they build and they build until it just like, it blows your mind, and it just keeps getting more magical.
Yeah, it's so true. Most people don't realize. And so when I got over myself and my preconceived judgments, and when my yoga teacher actually talked about the orgasm being the divine, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then when they listed out exactly what you listed, the mindfulness, the breath work, the singing, the toning, and I was already doing that in Kundalini yoga, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is almost embarrassing. The you know, religious background that I was raised in, I just prejudged it. And there are some, I'm just going to say it, just like in any industry, there's some shady characters out there.
Sure. Yep.
And you just got to be aware, and that's why I have you on my show, because you're a man of integrity and a leader and a trusted person in the industry. And I love that you're talking about a movement of love, and really Tantra is about loving one's self. The more you love yourself, right, the more you love others. And I believe Jesus said love one another. These little things that somehow get turned on their head, and you end up with a whole nother story. But anyway, I digress. What other things do you want to share, or any insights about loving oneself? Maybe that would be a good transition, since it is part
Sure.
of your passion.
So how do you love yourself? Right. It's like I think that we're all here to do that. I think that's one of our main jobs, is being human. And it's not something we talk about. In fact, it's also kind of, people say, oh, you should be modest, or, it's like, it's not popular exactly. But the point is, like, just if you want more love, period, if you want to experience a more loving experience in life, and I think love is one of the highest vibrations. So it's like, generally people who are really feeling loving are also happier and more fun and free. Okay. What do? First is you're training your subconscious brain as well as your emotions. In fact, you're training, when you're doing Tantra, you're training your brain, you're training your energetic field, if you will. You're like increasing its capacity to feel pleasure. You're changing your environment and the people you're around, which enable you to be more like the people you come back like, and you change you manifesting this energy to create things that you desire. So I start every day with an attitude of gratitude. Whatever you want more of, be grateful for what you already have. If you're thinking, oh, I suck at blah, 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 or whatever, or I wish I had more money, or I wish I had more health, then you are focusing on what you don't have. But if you go, I'm so grateful, like I'm working on my health right now to get to the best it's ever been. And so I started to say, I'm so grateful I have such amazing health. It's like, I can talk, I can walk, I can talk to you, I can see, I can, like celebrate all the things we can do, that we are, it's like, hey, I'm not in pain in this moment. Hey, I'm breathing, like, and build from there. And if you can really find the what is it, the behind the rainbow, the silver lining, it's like sometimes the real master of gratitude is looking for the tough parts in your life and being grateful for that. It's like, wow, my ex-marriage, I'm grateful for, because even though it created pain and suffering, it taught me so much about who I am. It enabled me to like get connected to my purpose. My marriage taught me essence of like how to love myself, because I was experiencing a lack. So I'll explain that in a second. So one is just train your brain. It's consistent. So every day, think of what you're grateful for, whatever it is you want more of, be grateful for what you have. And it's like loving yourself. So that's the second thing I do, is I look in the mirror, if I have a mirror, or I just close my eyes and feel it. And I say, I accept and love myself exactly as I am. Go ahead and say that with me. I accept and
And
love
love
myself
myself
exactly as I
exactly as
am.
I am.
I just notice how you feel. Is some part of you resist that? Yeah. For a while, I had to say, and I'm growing, because I couldn't accept that I was perfect right now the way I was. But now it's like, no, I'm perfect, and sure, things are changing. But it's like, and again, it's about acceptance. It's about not being in resistance to what is, right? And before we can love ourselves, we have to accept ourselves. And before we can accept ourselves, we have to forgive ourselves. And sometimes forgiving and accepting others is an access to us forgiving, accepting, and loving ourselves. So forgiveness is great too. Look at all the people that you're angry with or have resistance to or whatever. See if you can forgive them, see if you can accept them, see if you can love them. And in turn, that'll help you forgive and accept and love yourself too. In fact, one of the weird things happened to me was I started experiencing past life stuff. In some of my past lives, I was not a nice guy. I mean, it sounds crazy, but I was like kill or be killed kind of world. I did some pretty awful things. In fact, I think all of us as humans to get to this point have done some awful things. And I didn't believe in past lives, by the way. So you don't have to believe in what I'm saying but my experiences, I'll meet people on a regular basis, but I remember things as if they were yesterday that happened from, let's say, previous experiences or lives. But the lessons I'm getting from it is, wow, if I can forgive myself for what I've done then I can totally forgive myself for the relatively minor things I've done now, you know, and just the fact that no one's trying to kill me and I don't have to kill anybody in this life, that alone is worth being grateful for in of itself. But I digress. The biggest part of Tantra, the hardest part, the most people, not everyone talks about, the biggest way to change your subconscious is through emotional release. And what I mean
Mm,
by that is that most of us have had trauma, and it doesn't have to be capital T trauma. It could be you didn't get a cookie or something, but we make up stories about it and we retract our energy, and our energy gets stuck in our body. And our mind and our energy field and our emotions are all linked and connected, right? That's why when you move your body, it can change your emotional state too. Anyway, the point is that, so what happens is you got to identify, this is the mindfulness part, any limiting conversations and stories that don't align with who you truly are and who you vision say you are. And a part of this is loving yourself, right? And then anything, like I had a story that I was unlovable that I created when I was 3. My mom was one of the most loving people I've ever met, if not the most loving. And she was psychotic. So she was schizophrenic. So she was like, love me. And then one minute I was 3, she was shaking me and screaming at me. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? What did I do? And from that moment on, I said, oh, I got to be the adult. I got to be the one, I got to watch myself and so forth. But I made up that I was unlovable. And then throughout my life, I created evidence and support and stories and dating and partners that would reinforce the story until I thought it was the truth, right? It's not the truth. You are all love. That's our divine natural state of being. And so after noticing the story, I had to unwind it, going back to when that first occurred, and I had to feel into it. See, most of us resist and avoid and don't want to look at what these things are. But if we can allow ourselves, knowing that it's not the truth, that's important, because if you just go back and say, yeah, I'm unlovable, and you feel the feelings, you'll reinforce the trauma. But if you're like, no, I am love, I am divine love. And that was just a story I made when I was 3 because I didn't know better. And some of these stories are useful. They might have protected us when we were young. But now it's does it serve me now? So then this, and I got to tell you, it took me all my years of practice, when I noticed it and I said, here it is, this deep story, I was like, I got to go in and feel this. And so we teach you emotional release exercise and so forth, but it's might involve screaming or crying, or, that's what I did. I screamed, I cried, I let it, and I just let myself feel what it was like to be totally unlovable fully.
yeah.
It took me about 30 minutes and it was gone. And then it was and then the triggers, the old stories, the patterns and stuff were just gone. And it was weird. I went on a walk the next day, and I, just for fun, I say hi to people, and I see how many people say hi back. And I usually get a 50% return rate or something. Yeah. And when that day, everybody said hi to me, and most people initiated it. And I was just walking. I was like, what is going on? It was something changed in my energy field. And my old codependent patterns and old things, people would say something would trigger my level story. They were just, it was a trigger had been removed. And I'm not saying that I'm found the bottom level, but it's compared to what I was, I feel that the story's gone, right? And I just have a level of freedom that I didn't have before. And the last tip for self-love is look in a mirror and make love to yourself. See yourself as sexy. If that's too much, just take your clothes off and notice and see if you can love each part of yourself. But and that was another thing I did, is I found myself sexy for the first time. And playing with energy too, I become more bisexual because I start feeling people regardless of their physical bodies. And I was able to have an orgasm myself and go, wow, I'm a sexy person. Then it just deepened the level of love for me, because it's just about acceptance and love. So anyway, that a lot of stuff there, but make love yourself, feel your feelings, emotions, attitude of gratitude. Those are 3 tips for self-love.
And again, beautiful. Thank you. Because a lot of people are like this with Tantra. So I'm wanting to destigmatize it, and all of that is just so spot on. And I want to just mirror back some reflections. There's no quick fix with this, right? You did this practice. It's like a daily ritual, 15 minutes. People could even get started with 5 minutes, right? However it matters. It's just to get into that space. And what I heard you say was you went out and you were the change you saw in your own world, as you and I both know, and just reminding people that if the outer world sucks, guess what? Look in the mirror you created this. And so that was hard for me, hard pill and alcohol and all the things that I swallowed to like escape and numb out on life. It was hard to finally recognize like I am my own hero, I am my own victim. And to be the change I wanted to see in the world, I had to go in and do the work, especially the crying, the screaming, my sacred rage, like all of it just helped me aliven myself. I found behind rage and grief and depression was sacred sexuality and creativity and a flow of energy that I haven't had since I was probably a little kid.
Hmm. Yeah.
So those are the things for people to really to tap into. This is like going back to your inner child and just loving and going through forgiveness. I know is probably one of the hardest ones for most of us. Is a key. So I wanted to just touch on that really quick. If you had any specific advice on forgiveness, whether it's self or others or both.
Well, one of the things I love about Tantra is, as a side note, it's actually fun to practice. So the more you do it, like I used to be a Buddhist and I couldn't have the motivation. So similar, if you can make these practices fun, then do that. And what's also cool about Tantra is that when I connect with someone, it's like that we're all connected. It goes from a intellectual like exercise to wow, I feel it, like I am you. And when I can really feel people, and I really know in my gut when I have a visceral connection to wow, we are all one, then it's easier for me to forgive. It's not a you're bad and wrong and evil and I'm good, I'm righteous. Like I think it's a trap a little bit. And it's like, that's why one of my favorite sayings is not either or, it's both and more, which we can unpack too if you want. But so to answer your question, when I'm trying to forgive someone, I first of all recognize that they're me. And then but the funny thing is, if we actually have a harder time forgiving ourselves than we do other people, right? Because it's like treat other people as you want to be treated, but you got to actually treat yourself well, or actually, because if you loathe and hate yourself, guess what? You're going to create loathe and hate out there too. So I think it's a practice, it's like baby steps, like just notice that I also, it comes back to why are we human? Like my meta view is that I actually remember being a being of light and I chose to be human. I said, guess what? I'm going to go be in a meat body for many generations. I'm going to go experience suffering. I'm going to experience pain. I'm going to experience all that there is to be a human body, because everything that's not love will help me understand what love is. By being in a duality environment, it helps me appreciate why I'm here. Like, the fact that when I remember when I lose someone I love, I appreciate them more. When it's like when we were all one in this blissful oneness, it's like it's hard to identify, well, what are we? What do we like? Who are we? So I really think that we're all one big experiment of learning to love ourselves, and all of us are just different elements of the divine, like playing the game and feeding back to each other. So in that context, the highest form of forgiveness is recognizing there's never anything wrong to begin with, which is pretty deep. But it's like, so if the person who caused me suffering, and the thing is, like, some of my most challenging moments are my greatest growth moments,
Teachers.
as we talked about
yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And so I look at everything that's happening out there is happening for me. I truly have proanoia, not paranoia. I believe that the whole universe is here for me. Everyone, I don't think I have enemies. I have teachers. So anyone who like causes me pain, anyone who, like bothers me or whatever, then it's like, thank you. It's like, it takes practice, right? It's not an overnight thing, but it really becomes, a way of life where it's like, what's the lesson here for me? Or why is this person sharing this with me? And oh, look, this is a reflection of me. Like, this is an aspect of me, like that I get to love in myself, right? It's like that relationships are really good for this too, because basically we have our own limiting conversation stories when we're together, and we can't just leave. They're forced to come up, and we're forced to deal with them, and they flare up for us to heal and move through and beyond, or some people don't, and they just break up and keep creating the same problem. One last thing on this too is that compersion is a really beautiful process. It's the opposite of jealousy, right? So it's like, it's when you love someone loving. Like, so it's like, for instance, if I see someone that and this is a process too, by the way, because we're all conditioned that love is supposed to be like jealous. It's supposed to be with one person. It's supposed to be in marriage, but it's like, that's all, I think, conditioning. But when I truly love someone, true love is unconditional, meaning I don't expect anything in return. I
Yeah.
don't need them to love me back. And when I really love someone, I love for them to feel love. And so one shift for me was like actually enjoying the compersion of even when, I mean, this is not, by the way, not a tantric thing. This is just more of a personal thing. But the more I do tantra, the more I feel people as if I were them, the more compersion I feel, the more oneness I feel, the more bisexual, the more pansexual I become. Because it's like, it's all just energy to me. And so now I can, like, even when I'm in a partner who, let's say, cheated on me or something, cheating is just a miscommunication. It's like, because we would give each other permission to explore love with other people. And there was a time when I was like, oh, that feels like I'm going to lose her, or that makes me less. Just a bit. Now I think of anyone I love who loves someone else is just added to the family. It's like, and I truly don't know how to feel jealous anymore. I've shifted that out of my body. So what I'm trying to say is that by doing tantra and you start really feeling people and you start feeling connection with them, it's easier to forgive because we know we're all one. And you learn how to love more unconditionally, where you don't have to have anything back. Because the thing is, just because someone I love loves someone else doesn't take anything about from me. I know that I love myself and I'm great. So it's just adding to the collective, Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a new word. I never heard of compersion. It reminds me of compassion. So I don't know if they're related phonetically or etymologically or whatever, but thank you that's the word of the day, compersion.
Compersion, yes.
And you made me think of this is kind of fun. I teach my clients in my alchemy. This is Earth School. We all chose here to come now at this time. Dolores Cannon called it the first wave, second wave, third wave of volunteers who said, okay, I'm going to come in this planet, help with the new Earth that's being birthed right now in this age of Aquarius, divine feminine awakening. And when you have, oh my gosh, Shakespeare said the world is a stage and we're all players in each other's life, to remember what love is, like that song from the 80s. I want to know what love is.
I know it well. I know it well.
And I want you to show me. So here's a new spin on that. It's like, yes, divorce has been my best teacher for love. Like, I didn't realize how much I hated myself. And then I came through this journey of divorce, and oh my God, I love myself so much more now. I set boundaries. Saturn's in retrograde right now. So if anybody's feeling like a little Saturny, which, it's good to set boundaries, to be able to really be clear and draw that line. And those people that you don't want to be with, there's layers to that we won't go down any of those rabbit holes, but experience is the best teacher. And unfortunately, it's the most painful experiences that usually return us to love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hold on a second here. I think, oh, look at this. We have John Block in the house.
Hey, Shelby.
And we want to say thank you to John Block. It's all because of you that I know ScottieO, and obviously we're soul family. We're here, Shakespeare, whatever, the universe brought us together to be having this conversation, and it's just a beautiful community that we're growing here. So before I move on, I have a fun little thing I've been doing for every show today. I'm excited to see who shows up for you, ScottieO. So I'm going to pull from the Divine Feminine Oracle deck based on our conversation. I have a secret wish of who I hope shows up, but I'm going to let the goddesses speak. Who would like to speak to us and through us right now?
Love?
Oh my God. Whoa. Okay. Amazing. This is a very poignant one for me because this actually helped me through my divorce. And she's very, very, I think probably unknown, but it's Mai Bago is her name.
Oh, interesting.
Mai Bago.
I'm a warrior of love. That's close.
Yeah, so her mantra and her affirmation. And if you want to repeat it after me, ScottieO, because you got me inspired, repeat after me. I am a warrior of love.
I am a warrior of love.
My devotion
My devotion
attracts resources and support.
attracts resources and support.
Yeah. So just let that land in your central nervous system. When you are a warrior of love, which is perfect because ScottieO, this is for you to continue your sharing of your message of the movement of an embodiment of love. Get out of our heads, right? Because that's not where the orgasm happens. It's in our bodies and our spirit and our energy. Um, when you have a devotion to yourself, love, which is so an antithesis of our society's message, right? Um, then you attract resources and support, which is just such a beautiful, beautiful message. Anything else you want to add to that?
I, most of my lives that I remember from my past was warriors, as I kind of alluded to before. There was like, I did a lot of killing and being killed and all that. And I really believe that the main reason was for me to learn what love is, and that it's, and understand the horrors and suffering that are happening when we don't come from love, so that I'm really inspired to like bring love into this life. And I feel that the training, if you will, of all that was to make me a warrior of love in this life. I think of myself as a warrior, but I'm fighting for love with peace, and I believe we can have peace in our lifetime. And that's what I'm standing for. And what it takes is the determination, the motivation, the consistent integrity, all these things of a warrior, of standing for love, of what you believe in, and we don't need violence anymore. That's the thing. I think we are evolving as a race. And I think we've gotten to the point where we no longer need to use violence as a way to expand and grow. I think we can expand and grow through love and joy and orgasm. I mean, try it. It's a lot more fun than, because most people use pain as a way to propel ourselves. We use fear, we use suffering as a way
Control.
to get out of. That's what, most of us had to hit a rock bottom in order to like, okay, I don't want this anymore, and changing the
Yeah.
direction. But it's like, we don't have to do that anymore. We don't have to change through fighting. We can actually see self as, just see each other as one. We're all the same at a fundamental level, and we're all beautifully, diversely different. That's what makes life so amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, you touched on something that's really powerful. Non-duality. We are all human and divine. We are all feminine and masculine, regardless of your gender, regardless of your sexual preference. I'm talking about the inner game. You talk about inner peace. To me, that's the feminine and masculine energies inside of us that are fully in love, fully healed, fully supporting one another. And then everything comes through so much more delicious effortlessness and flow. So I think that non-duality and the androgynous of humanity, and that's why I believe there's so many transgender and so many things changing on the planet, is because people are recognizing that we all are one, and we can be fluid, and we can change, and we can grow, and we can evolve, just like my podcast has over the past 5 years. So it's beautiful. It's happening for all of us, right? Don't fight it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Go flow with it, and release the constructs of the mind. I definitely believe differently about sexuality than I did even a year ago, and I'm kind of, my mind is blown. I'm like, wow, I would have never thought about that, and it's a beautiful evolution. So thank you for your work. I do have just some quick announcements, and then I have a final question for you, ScottieO. And of
Sure.
course, in a little bit, I'll have you tell people where they can find you. So in
Great.
the spirit of 5-year anniversary celebration, I always do a giveaway on all of my celebrations on my podcast. And so you must play to win. So today, if you happen to catch this in time, of course, after the deadline, you won't qualify. But if you watch this on the 22nd or the 23rd, you have to comment below and hit the share button, whether you share it on Facebook, share it on LinkedIn, share it on YouTube. And if you want to even go a step further and prove that you shared it, send me an email with a screenshot at info@magdalenagrace.com. If you do that by midnight on the 23rd, so tomorrow night as of real time now, Wednesday the 23rd, I'll put your name in the hat for a drawing to win free access to my $333 workshop on this Friday. It's a 6-month planning clinic around what I call the abundance blueprint. So alchemizing your fear into love, which is what we talked about, scarcity or lack into abundance, pain into purpose, grief into gold, all the things that are shadowy, that are unconsciously blocking us, which is what ScottieO also talked about. And we're going to have a plan for your health, wealth, and relationships written out on paper by the time you leave for the rest of the year. Of course, this is in person in San Diego. So if you can't come or get here in time for Friday afternoon, the 25th, then you can be in the drawing for a free abundance alchemy session. So just hope to be able to see some of you commenting below, sharing the information. And then last but not least, and I don't know if you saw this announcement, ScottieO, just Mary Magdalene gave me another gift today. I was named number 8. So the top 10 psychedelic podcasts of the year.
Hey, congratulations.
According to Million Podcasts on LinkedIn. Don't know how that happened, other than thank you to my viewers. Thank you, universe, for spreading the vibration of healthy and wealthy and wise. And just keep coming back for more. Keep sharing. Keep hit the like and subscribe button. You never know whose life you might impact. And then just final announcement before I go back to ScottieO. If you're a woman who would like to fly to San Diego, drive to San Diego, and be here, me and Mansi Shah, who was on earlier, we're hosting together a beautiful goddess divine feminine awakening retreat just after the eclipse, the full moon eclipse, September 7th. Starting on the 8th, 9th, and 10th, which is encompassing the 9-9 portal, all about shedding that which no longer serves you and awakening that divine Kundalini Shakti. We'll be talking about sex. We'll be talking about how to really embody your truth and break the constructs that have held a lot of us women down for thousands of years, from the ancestral level all the way to through childhood up to the here and now. So go to magdalenagrace.com if you want to see more. The early bird discount expires July 31st. So please check out that link when you get a chance. So ScottieO, I always ask a closing question to every one of my first time guests. And so I'd love to get your feedback on this. When you hear the phrase healthy and wealthy and wise, what does it mean to you?
Well, it's very similar to what I stand for in the world. I would just say healthy, wealthy love. But what it means to me is health is like a vibrant capacity to do anything and everything that I want to do, not getting sick anymore ever again, having the capacity to do whatever I want. Wealthy means abundance of, like, I have more than enough money to handle all my dreams if I never had to work again and help other people. And really, I think of it as globally, like all of us being healthy, all of us being wealthy, and wise is, I think, the keys to getting there. And I think, I don't know, the greatest form of wisdom is love. So my own take on it is, like, I also see a world where we all feel love. We all feel loved all the time. We all feel love for each other. We all are feeling joy and freedom. And maybe that's part of wisdom too. So yeah, I mean, we really master those things as a collective. We will be living in heaven on earth right now. We are actually living in heaven on earth right now, but most of us don't notice. So it's like, then we'll actually all be experiencing the full capacity of what's possible for us, which is so beyond what even I think is possible right now. It's like, the more I do this work, or if you call it work, the more I do this play, the more I just realize just how magnificent everything is and how magical, and things are so much more beautiful than I ever thought they were.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think it summarizes your message that love, when you come from that place, you operate from unconditional love and joy, acceptance. You're going to have great health. you're going to have great wealth, whatever that means for you. And there's a deep, deep ancient wisdom inside of Tantra and love and all the things that you shared. So thank you so much. I know you shared with me in the chat. I will include your websites and stuff, but tell people where they can find you.
Sure. So I want to give you guys a gift too. So if you want to know more about Tantra, I'm actually willing to give you a 30-minute one-on-one session. I don't have as much time availability next month, but there'll be more, but I do have some spots. So the point is if you want to talk to me about your own personal journey or what you desire, or if Tantra can be a fit for you, I'm happy to share my thoughts and give you a free coaching session. So that's one thing. If you go to Electrifying Love, you can type that in there. Electrifying Love is, it'll give you that. It'll give you a free video on just a quick way to double the length and intensity of your orgasm. Just, I know it's a lot about sex, but let's just give you a quick tip to see for real if it helps you. And I'll give you access to our newsletter, which also has like discounts and tips and all sorts of great opportunities and online trainings and things like that. So check that out. And then also Ecstatic Hearts is our primary website. And if that's where we have all sorts of more information, as well as, I should probably give you, if you want to come see us live, then we have some various events and retreats, and we have a Tantra Festival come up in the year, and we've got a vacation to Dominican Republic and all sorts of things going on. So if you want to do Ecstatic Hearts /live events, that takes you specifically to the page that shows some stuff you want to do. But anyway, there's lots of free videos and stuff on Ecstatic Hearts too that you can help learn about this stuff. I'd love to get to know you better. And hey, if you don't like me and my style, great. But go check out Tantra somewhere, because there's lots of different styles. It behooves you to explore this amazing gift that's available for you.
Yeah, and even through my own Kundalini workshops and stuff, I've found my openness and reconnecting with Mary Magdalene and Yeshua and that sacred union within. There's so many great tools out there, like ScottieO said. Just dive in. It might be scary at first. I know the feeling. But on the other side of fear is love, bliss, joy, peace, abundance, and all the beautiful things. So thank you again, ScottieO, for your wisdom. I will
My
have all those
pleasure.
links in the show notes. And again, last call, please like, subscribe, comment below. I want to acknowledge Dee Dee is here. I just want to say thank you so much. My dream interpreter, a past guest on my show. Thank you for showing up. And you just might change or save a life. I know a lot of people are going through a lot right now, and this message may hit someone in a different way than the last message. So please share this. Sharing is caring. And until next time, this will be the completion of my guest extravaganza. I'm sure I'll be back with another episode. Until then, here's to your best health, your best wealth, by trusting your best wisdom within. Bye-bye for now.